inspired, fully engaged. You're tuning in to Reality with Vicki Gunvalson.
So hey everyone, welcome back to Reality with Vicki. I'm so excited to have Jessica Lentz here today. I had an opportunity to meet her about a week ago on your Zoom up with all your real estate friends and professional agents and things. So I thought it'd be a great opportunity to have you in my home, in my Reality with Vicki. So welcome. Thank you all for joining. Just as a reminder, go to Lux TV and download the app, and also make sure you subscribe to the podcast on Apple and Spotify. So let's get started. So I know that you are a super high achieving businesswoman, and you're also a mother. So tell me more about you. I'm going to have an opportunity to meet you in a couple of weeks. I'm super excited about that. So tell me more about you. What makes you so special, and tell me about your business.
So thanks for having me on today. It's wild for me because I've watched you for 16 years now, 15 years, however long it's been. And to be able to sit here with somebody who's in you yourself is wild to me. So thank you for this opportunity.
It's that full circle of life, right? It's that full
oh my gosh, it's the coolest thing ever. Like this is the coolest thing. So I live here in Denver, and I started a real estate business about 9 years ago. And I've been a top producing real estate agent here in Colorado for the last 9 years. I also run a coaching company for other women out of my home. So I coach other female real estate agents around the country so that we can learn that work-life balance that seems so elusive to so many women.
Right.
My biggest shtick has always been boundaries. I only work from 9:30 to 3:30. So that way I'm on when the kids are at school and I'm off when the kids are home. And that to me has always been something that's super important. I met you because I started a podcast with three of my other girlfriends here in the Denver area who are also top producing real estate agents. And so we've been able to move our platform to a much larger audience now, which has been amazing. So you'll have to check out. We actually just dropped your episode about 10 minutes ago.
Oh, good. So let the listeners know where they can see that.
So our podcast is called Homegirls CO, Homegirls for the real estate thing.
Good. So I have to stop you for a moment. So you're very disciplined on your time, 9:30 to 3:30. I am not. That's my weak spot. So one of my biggest issues with my marriage with Don and my current relationship with Steve is they both have told me I work too much and I'm too distracted away from them. I know it's my handicap, but I simply cannot get everything done in a 24-hour day. So I've learned to delegate as best as I can, but the responsibilities are so huge, whether it's my insurance business, whether it's my, podcast, or whether it's my personal life with my children. I just don't have that luxury of 9:30 to 3:30. So what do you just like till the next morning? And so to make an offer at 8:00 at night, you just say, I'm sorry, I'm off.
I mean, obviously there's give and take, right? But for me, so I was a young mom. I had my first child at 18. My youngest, so he actually moved out this morning, my 20-year-old. And I have an 11-year-old at home still. And I think that being a young mom, I worked full time. I was in school full time. I missed out on so much of my oldest son's life that once I got into being able to own my own business and have my own life, I made a very conscious decision. I was going to be present. And if that meant that sometimes it cost me money, then I had to be okay with that because I can get that back down the road. I can't get the time back with my kids. And so,
well said.
Yeah. So for me, that's what it came down to.
Good for you. Well said. And I was a single mother. And even while I was married to Don, I still was a single mother because they were my kids and not his. And I had so much pressure on at that time to be the breadwinner, to handle it all, to grow the business. And I'm super competitive. I'm sure you are as well. So when you see the numbers and you're falling behind your colleagues, it's just, you really want to be, well, hello, Linda. you really want to be on top of your game. And so for me, I sacrificed a lot, and probably hindsight, I shouldn't have, so kudos to you.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I know on our podcast, we had asked you about the mom guilt side of things. And I think one of the best things that you said was that you never had mom guilt, you had pride.
Mm-hmm.
And so to anyone out there, I think that's a huge statement. Like, what would you say to other women who have that mom guilt that's so massive? And what would you say to them now?
Well, it's interesting. My daughter is 34 and she just delivered her third baby, and she wants to stay home with Hank because she never really got to stay home with Troy and Owen as much as she wanted to, because Ryan was off at war and she was working and daycare and all that stuff. Now she said the same thing. I want to be present for Hank. I want to be there for at least a year. But you only can do what you can do. If your mom guilt is there, then maybe work when the kids are asleep, or I'm sure you do that when the kids are done with their homework or done with their schoolwork and it's 8 or 9 o'clock and you want to answer some emails. You can do that, or not. I mean, you could wait till the morning. That guilt is present though. As a mother, I don't think the men feel it like we do. That guilt is present. And, it doesn't really matter gender specific who's the breadwinner. I never got discouraged that I was the breadwinner, but I did see a difference in balance. Like the guys can go off and work and travel and do whatever they want to do typically, and they don't have the guilt because they're the breadwinner. But what if you're a female and you have that guilt and you also have to bring in the money? It's definitely there. It's definitely there.
We're expected to work like we don't have kids.
Right.
And we're expected to raise kids like we don't have a job. And it's a double-edged sword in our society. Like my husband works for the railroad. He's gone all the time. Do you think anybody questions
right
your husband? No one cares.
No one cares. They want to know why you're not the room mom for the day, or, help them with the supplies for the Valentine's Day party.
Right.
So that's interesting. So you got this collaboration with these women that all have the same strengths. I mean, you're good at what you do, and I respect that and love that. Girl boss babe. But then you have this other scenario of raising kids, and we got to raise good humans, especially in this day and age that we're in. It's raising good humans,
especially boys.
Yeah, and Brianna's got 3 of them. So, so I've got some questions. Tell me about the influential moment in your life that transformed your mindset and led you to become who you are today.
So you're actually a part of that story. So
You're going to make me cry. I love this.
I was laying on the couch, the bed, whatever, and flipping through the TV, and some random show's on, had never even heard of it. And I turned it on and it was The Real Housewives. And I can very clearly remember them showing your home and your business, and you were in your home office on your, at the time, the cordless phones that were sticking to the bed, right? And I was like, what? Like there's women out there making 6-7 figures that aren't tied to a man, right? And at the time I was young, I had just graduated college, I had a 6-year-old, and I remember sitting there watching you going, I want to do that. I want to make money like she makes money, and I want to own my own business and my own life the way that she does. At the time, there wasn't shows out there that showed this side of the business world, right?
You're right.
Even on even $1 million listing, like they finally have a female real estate agent. That's like a big deal.
I know.
But you were a part of that story for me, where you were my first exposure to a high, income earning business owner. And I wanted to be like you when I grew up.
Isn't that great? And here we are. 6 degrees of separation. Here we are. I have to tell you, Jessica, I hear that a lot. And I don't even think that Bravo did me justice in regards to my career. They kept saying, okay, we get that you sell insurance and we get that you're a business owner. And I go, but you guys don't understand, when I'm at the airport or when I'm in line at the grocery store, people come up to me, and college kids or high school kids, saying, you've inspired me. And I thought, why are they not bringing that to light a little bit more? But they steered into the avenue of chaos and fighting and lying. And, horrible things that people said about me, that I look like a pig, and I lied about cancer, like all this terrible stuff. And they just started ruining my self-esteem. And so when that started going down, I couldn't fight it as much as I wanted to. So I had to back away. And, I miss it. But I feel like my story's not done yet. I feel like, with all that I've got going on, they're missing out on so much of life. My daughter, Brianna, how old are you, Jessica?
I'm 38.
Okay, so Brianna's 34. You guys are very close in age, and I look to her and you, it's kind of like you've got the same personality. She's got a 8-year-old, a 6-year-old, and now a 3-month-old. And, she was a really big part. I'm sure you saw her a lot on the Housewives of Orange County. If they could just put cameras on her now and see what she's doing, it would inspire other 34-year-olds, other 24-year-olds to go through what she's gone through. She did this keto diet, and now she's got this keto Culberson Instagram, and she's influencing people. In fact, I was in Puerto Vallarta last week, and somebody came up to me and said, because of your daughter, I lost 38 pounds. I was like, wow, you follow my daughter on Instagram? Like those kind of things through the social media and through TV, if we can influence or change people for the better, then the whole thing was worth it. But if people walk away and say, okay, well, she was, this, that, or the other in a negative way, then that doesn't make me feel good. So I love that story. So you were young.
I was a baby. I mean, I was 25, maybe even younger than that. I was a baby.
Wow.
And for my first real exposure to a businesswoman that made a lot of money.
And a good influence.
My questions for you, though, is you are in a transition phase right now.
Yes, I am.
You most excited about? And what are you looking forward to being able to be Vicki now, not Vicki, the reality TV star?
I know. It's so weird to me because I'm engaged, dating. I don't know if we'll ever get legally married because we don't have to, but I wanted a commitment, and so we are. But he wants to live in Mexico. I bought a condo in Mexico back in March, and he loves it there. And I had always prayed and hoped for somebody that would love Mexico as much as I do, because my parents had built a home there, and I've been going there for 35 years. So this transition phase that I'm in, I'll be 59 next month, is I'm man that doesn't live in California anymore. So like, okay, Lord, what does this mean? So that's interesting. We've been going back and forth a lot. We just got home Friday night. He's going to be going back in 2 weeks. I don't know when he's going to be coming back. He's got 4 children and 6 grandchildren, and he'll be back and forth. But that's an interesting transition. The second thing is my daughter, who has my 3 grandsons, she's moving from North Carolina to Illinois, which is where we're all from. And so Steve's like, well, don't you want to move back to Illinois? And like, no, I want to live in California with you. He's like, but I'm not going to live in California anymore. So this transition, I'm thinking, where are the cameras now? With all those transitions. And then my business has become very internet driven. I mean, I could do so much of it from my office in Puerto Vallarta, so much of it from here. So this whole life through this past year with Zoom, I'm sure you're seeing the same thing. Are people buying houses remotely? Because Brandon just bought her house online without seeing it in Illinois.
Mm-hmm. Especially last year when we were totally shut down here in Denver. I mean, that's all we did, right? Was we had to go into houses by ourselves and have video, and we couldn't do a whole lot. So yeah, absolutely.
And the sales were still happening, right?
Yeah, they were still happening.
And with interest rates being as low as they are right now, my son-in-law is a veteran, so he's able to get like 2.25. So the size of house that they're able to get is $100,000 to $200,000 more than that they wouldn't have been able to ever get. So I think there's just a lot of opportunity for you as a realtor, for me as a homeowner to, capitalize on that. So I'm sure you're seeing that phase happening, right?
People big time. I mean, even us, like we keep talking about, now's probably the time to invest in a condo in Puerto Rico, like we've been wanting to do. And, just a personal perspective, not in a business perspective, now's the time that we keep looking at, maybe now's the time to start capitalizing on some of the growth the last 8 years and start putting towards retirement and things like that.
That's what you need to do. That and life insurance. That's interesting. So yes, and you talked about the transition of life and me approaching 59. Can't believe it. I started the show when I was 42. Where did the time go? But it is a transition. And when you had the spotlight on you for 14 years, and, I just talked to my producer the other day, and he's like, how is Vicki doing? I said, I don't really know. I think I'm just still numb from the fact I was on it for so long and now I'm not. It was like poof, gone. And he's like, we still love you. We still talk about you. We still want to whoop it up with you. We had to go in a different direction because, it gets stale with the same person. I said, I'm never going to be stale. I'm never going to be stale. I'm always going to figure out a way to have fun. And I don't ever script my reality. So it was, some of the other girls go, okay, I'm going to open up this and I'm going to open up that and I'm going to do this. And, I think you can see through it as a viewer, what's real and what's not.
I don't watch anymore.
I don't either. Good for you. So you're one of many hundreds of thousands of people that have turned off from watching it.
It's not real. There's nothing authentic about it. And that was always one of the things.
There's no inspiration.
That you were authentic, good, bad, ugly.
Yeah.
You were who you were. And I always loved that you were such a good mom. Like you
Love my kids.
Babies.
They're my babies. And now Troy, Noah, and Hank, and it's just so fun once you become in this next phase when you've got grandkids that love you so much. And, I always used to talk about my love tank being empty. And Don said, I didn't even know you had a love tank. I go, well, there's the problem. So right. If I'm feeling like my love tank is empty from Steve, then I just have to be around my grandkids and it gets filled up. So it's great. So I have more questions for you, if that's okay. Mm-hmm. How do you continue to set your goals when it seems as if you have accomplished everything you set out to do? And I don't believe we're ever set on everything we set out to do. I believe we're always achieving. When you're an achiever, you're always looking to achieve more, right?
Never been like a numbers person in this business. For me, it was always the lifestyle. It was how often can I be home with the kids? How much can I spend time with my husband? I think that we measure success in ways that don't matter, right? I think that when you start to peel back the layers, it comes back to how happy are your kids?
Right.
How's the real stuff behind the curtain? And so I was always focused on that. And for me at this point in my career, I'm focused on my relationships with people because through relationships, you can build a business. Yep. I'm huge into community, giving back. That's part of the coaching company that I run. I think it's important that we as women build each other up.
Yep.
Was really the whole entire shtick behind our podcast was we were 4 good friends in the same industry and we wanted to spend more time together. We had no idea it would evolve into what it is. And through that, we've been able to give back and help and contribute to our agent community. So for me, I think the day that I stop wanting to help, there's a problem.
You're exactly right. Right.
And so that's what brings me joy.
So that's so incredible. I am not a good recipient of receiving gifts or anything. I want time. I am more of a giver in relationships. Like I'm the one that always does the extra things. So when you look at relationships, that if we don't have good, solid relationships, we have nothing. And my parents taught me that from early on. Your relationships, your integrity, your support when things are going good and bad, because when things are going bad, I want to be able to call on my friends and the people that adore me and love me, not just, maybe when it's going well and they want to take advantage of me. And I'm sure you've seen that too.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
All of a sudden they come flocking around you when you got the new boat or what have you. So you already said this, but it was on my questions for you. Who is your inspiration?
So you were obviously huge. And then for me, like in a personal world, my grandmother, my maga, she was, to this day, she's the one that she's looking down. And my gosh, I'm so proud of who she is.
I love her.
And then I think being a young mom, I grew up with my son, essentially. He's 20. And I always want to make him proud because he had to go with this mom that
didn't know what you're doing.
I had hell, we still have no idea what we're doing.
I still don't know what I'm doing, right? I know. Yeah.
But yeah, it was, having a 17, 18-year-old mom, like that's a big difference in age from the other moms. And we were treated differently. And it is what it is, but he's the one who I hope that he looks back and he goes, "Gosh, she worked her ass off and look at the life we
Isn't
have
that
now.
great?
I'm so
Isn't
proud
that
of her."
great? Oh, I love that story. I was a single mom too. And yeah, I was selling insurance at night and working for my dad's construction company during the day. So your parents, were they good, solid rock for you when you were being raised? Me too.
Yep, my sister just moved in actually 2 blocks away from me. So my baby sister is our neighbor now. My
Good.
parents live in the same house I grew up in. I mean, we're like abnormally normal, I think.
Good. Good. I love that. I love that. That's why I love about Brianna moving back to Illinois, because we're gonna have all the family together.
Who's
So
your influence at this point in your life?
you know what? My father in heaven, he was the most generous man, kindest man, strong German man, very strong about family. I mean, it was family over everything. And he made a lot of money. I grew up very well to do, and then he lost it all when I was about freshman in high school. We were rich kids, and he just held collateral for a bank loan for payroll for a big job he got, and the bank called the note 30 days later, and we lost our big home, our 7 bathroom, 8 bedroom mansion when I was just starting high school. But he recovered, and then he got Alzheimer's at 58. And I think the integrity damage of his reputation and such, losing his home to his family, was devastating for him, and he died really early. But I think about that was a circumstance that happened to him. It wasn't something that he did wrong. It was just a bad circumstance. But I came from really good stock. My mom was a stay-at-home mom. I remember my father used to say, "What do you want to be when you grow up?" And I said, "I just want to be a housewife like mom." Well, be careful what you wish for, right? But I wanted to be a
The
businesswoman.
original housewife
Yeah,
now.
but I wanted to be a businesswoman like my dad, and I wanted to be a housewife like my mom. And so that combination of cooking dinner every night and being there for my kids, and taking care of my home and decorating it and things like that, was super important to me. And it showed through with my children, because Brianna is that person now, and Michael loves to cook, and although he doesn't have a significant other, he will be an incredible husband. He's just been unfortunate with the last breakup. But at the end of the day, I think that we are who we want to be. If you were not raised in a really healthy home, you can change that. You can create a healthy home in your life. It's just, it doesn't have to follow you for generation and generation and generation. You can stop it, and you can be that person that you wanted to be in maybe a dysfunctional home. So I think there's just so much that people carry on their back. I call it a backpack.
Mm-hmm.
Backpack off and live the life you want to, because life goes by so fast. I can't believe how fast time goes. And Steve's mom's 83 and she needs a hip replacement now. And just last year she was dancing on a cruise ship. I'm like, she's like, "I don't have much life left." I said, "Yes, you do." And then I thought about it. I thought, God, my mom died at 83. My dad died at 66. And, you just look at life, how fast it goes. And every single day that you wake up, you have a decision what to do with your 24 hours, right?
Absolutely.
So what gets you up every day? Is it the drive to be the best you can be, Jessica? Is that?
Yeah, I mean it is. And I think as I'm getting older and as the kids are getting older, like your everything changes, right? Like it's fluid. And so I think if I were to give a really firm answer for right now at this point in my life, it's still the kids. I still want, and I want my husband to be proud of me, and I want my mom to be proud of me. And it is that drive, and it is the want to give back and do better. I'm a firm believer that the more you have, the more you can give. And so the more that I have, the more I can give everyone around me. And that gets me out of bed every day.
I love your time commitment. I think that 9:30 to 3:30 or 10 to 4, whatever your numbers are, I think it's super important. And I haven't always done that. But I've gotten a lot done, and I was like, but my desk was cleared by the end of the day. And it's like, does it really matter? And for me, it did. It does
Yeah.
matter. And that's what allowed me to be successful, is to have organizational skills and to really be a mentor to other agents. And like, you have that responsibility now. And truly, before you know it, your 11-year-old will be going off to college. I mean, it happens quick. And then you'll have more time, maybe to retire, maybe to spend more time with your, that's what life is. It gives us choices. But if we work hard now and lay a good footprint, you will then be able to reap the rewards. That's why I was able to buy my medical for cash. First of all, they don't take a mortgage. Second of all, I saved, and I wanted to create a retirement there. And from that, we were able to do that. But that was my dream. That was on my vision board. That was something that I wanted. Do you do vision boards at all?
Yes, I have a big one in my office that I actually just had made, and it says I have to be successful because I love expensive stuff.
Oh, I love that. So show me your vision board. Can you turn the camera?
See if I can turn you around. It's just, this one's just a canvas.
Oh, what do you mean you had it made? So you didn't cut things out?
But I have, but we do the vision boards.
Okay.
Where we put out the pictures and the cars and all that stuff. But that one's just the one that I look at every day because that's the truth. Like I
need to see it.
Let's see if I can get you to turn around. Hold on. I don't even know.
So you just put a saying on a canvas.
Oh yeah, this one is, because it's the big one. I'll have to show you when we're off.
Okay. Okay. Let's flip the camera because I think the viewers would like to see it. So you just have one statement in front of you that says what your mission statement is, basically, right?
Yep. And you know who else is expensive? These kids.
I know they are. They are.
Yeah. Hang on, we're gonna wander over, kind of Blair Witch.
Let's do it.
All right, let's see. It's hard to
love.
Yeah, because I love expensive. It actually says shit is actually what
okay, I like that. I love that. So that's your statement. That's what
in my entire office, it's you can kind of see like on the shelves, everything in here, it's like I've always chosen to surround myself with all the stuff that I want. Like I want a beach house. So I found a house that it looks like a replica of what I want. So like the entire office is really more like one giant vision board because the boys aren't allowed in here.
Oh, good.
This is my space.
Well, you need your space. So have you always lived in Denver?
Mm-hmm. Born and raised here. I'm one of like the only people left. I graduated from Columbine High School in Littleton and
Good. Here. So you're not going anywhere, but you could go to the beach, right?
Yeah.
You could go to the beach. So talk to me about your charity. What's your favorite charity? And talk to me a little bit about how do you give back.
So my best friend is a counselor in Denver for victims of sex trafficking. And we only deal with girls that are local to the community. I think people think sex trafficking, they think Thailand, they think anywhere but here, right? So about 2 years ago, she decided to start her own nonprofit so that she wasn't bound by the reins of some of the other nonprofits. So I sat on the board. It's called From Silence to Saved. We sat on the board. I sat on the board for about a year. I recently stepped down to be able to do like more behind the scenes stuff because my passion is events and getting people involved, not necessarily sitting on a board. So I stepped down from that, but I am still heavily involved. That's what my big passion is educating the community around that.
So let's talk about that because I'm very naive about that. When I hear that and I watch documentaries and movies, I do think it's another country. I do think it's not here in Denver or Chicago or LA or Orange County for that matter, because I'm naive to it. I don't understand it. I mean, I don't want to believe it. I think I'm numb to the reality of it. So talk to me about that a little bit more so we can educate people.
So we live in Douglas County, which is the richest county here in the Denver metro area. We have, I think last time I talked to her, she was at 27 girls that she was helping. Every single one of them is from a high school here in our county, a high school. So I'll tell you the one thing that she told me that when she told me this, I still can't wrap my head around. Most sex trafficking is what we call familia trafficking, which is the parents traffic their children for drug habits, for debt, whatever. And most of it is local. And that's why it's right here in your community, because it's the parents doing it. And they fly under the radar. These kids go to school with you. I'll send you a video to watch.
So the parents are farming out, so to speak, their children for drugs, whatever they're into.
Yep, paying off their debt, insert whatever you want here. But
and do the children get hijacked or they just...
I think it's the statistic, and I wouldn't quote me on this, I'll have to ask Janelle, but I think it's less than 1% of actual trafficking is kidnapped. Like people that are kidnapped and taken, that's a super, super rare form of trafficking. Usually it's boyfriends controlling, parents. It's usually situations that you would never equate sex trafficking to.
So what allows these children to move away from it? Is it the counseling at the school? Is it some signs that they're seeing? Or this is very disturbing to me. Very disturbing.
Yeah, it's especially like hearing, it gets hard. But so a lot of times what happens is the kid, let's say, get in trouble for something, whether it's drugs on their own, maybe they're in trouble for prostitution, maybe their grades start slipping and somebody finally notices, and they get put into some sort of treatment, or they finally tell somebody, they finally are put in a place where they can tell. And so that's how they get hooked up with us. We provide apartments and safe housing if we need to for these kids. We've done baby showers for some of them who are pregnant. We babysit some of these babies. We help in wherever capacity that they need right now.
Wow, what an incredible legacy you're leaving. So I'm affiliated with the Boys and Girls Club, similar to what you're doing, but doesn't involve the sex trafficking. But when you see these stories of these kids living in, motels, and then they go to Bruno's White House in Anaheim for spaghetti dinner every night, and then they go back to the hotel while the parents are off, either doing drugs or working, or right now most of them are not working. So the motels are filled with these, latchkey kids where they don't have any schoolwork, they're not at school, they don't have any guidance, but they have the Boys and Girls Club. So you and I have a strong influence on these kids, and if we can help them, then that we're doing good and we'll be blessed from it. So congratulations on finding something. I just am shocked on that stuff. Like, who would ever want to hurt their child? Like, it's just crazy to me,
It's hard. And it's hard to sit there and listen to some of the stuff these girls have been through, but in the next breath, how blessed am I that I get to
be. Blessed are you. How blessed are you, Jessica?
A safe space for that. That's what they choose. And so I'm very thankful to have a best friend who's absolutely incredible, has the biggest heart in the entire world, and drags me along for the ride.
Love it, Jessica. Well, good. I wanted to, first of all, thank you. I know that I'm coming to Denver in a few weeks, and I'm going to be doing a seminar for all of you that are high income earners or medium income earners that want to know how to prepare for retirement, because I think that's a big, big void. And so we can make all the money in the world, but if you get to that end of the rope where I'm approaching, what are you going to do with replacing your income? How are you going to have your investment strategized and things like that? So I'm super excited to head to Denver. Hopefully I won't get caught in a snowstorm because I'm a California girl.
-40 here last night, Vicki. It doesn't get cold. It was with the wind chill. It's never cold like that.
Wow, I know. Michael went to school at University of Colorado Boulder, so I've been there a lot in the winter months. Never was it -40.
My brother was in college with him at the same time.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I used to walk around the streets of Boulder, and I was like, I wonder if Vicki's here visiting her son.
I was there almost every weekend doing the football games and such. He was at Phi Kappa Tau fraternity, and he was the first class that shut down that fraternity at that time because they were like chaos. So he was the call, Mom, I have to have a place to live tonight. I'm like, what happened to your frat house? Well, it closed down. I'm like, wonderful. So that's my memory of University of Colorado Boulder. Great school. I always joke about it. I dropped him off as a conservative, a Christian, non-pot smoker. I picked up a pot smoker, a liberal,
to Boulder,
and an atheist. I'm like, I want my money back. So yeah, it was an expensive school, but he had a great time. So, Jessica, anything else? I want you to be blessed from this. Those of you that are in the Colorado area or wherever looking for some real estate, Jessica, give them your information and people can look you up.
So you can always, excuse me, find me on Facebook. My page is public. Come find me. Let's hang out. Let's be friends.
Let's be friends.
And I would love for you guys to listen to our podcast. We dropped Vicki's episode today. The podcast is called Homegirls CO.
Good. Well, good. We'll collaborate together. I wish you the very best. Keep doing what you're doing. You're taking names, right? Taking names all the way to the top. So my very best to you. We'll see you in a couple weeks in Denver.
I'll see you in a couple weeks.
Okay.
Vicki, thanks for having me on.
Take care. Bye.
Bye.
Now, glutathione is a big word, but it's the body's own master antioxidant. So it's a scavenger for free radicals, for bacteria, and what's relevant now, viruses. This is new to the marketplace. There's no other product on the market that has the ingredient NACET.
And basically NACET increases the production of that glutathione that is in our body already to strengthen and enhance our immune system and keep it strong. Elevated sense of well-being. Supports muscle strength and endurance. Cognitive function. Powerful liver support. Energy. Helps blood sugar regulation. Superior bioavailability of key ingredients.
One of your best defenses against COVID is a strong immune system. Taking GSH Plus as a daily supplement does all that. And now we have the product out on the marketplace.